Welcome back everyone, Maté Talk time in the office. How funny it was last week for those who saw the Maté Talk with the pool guy coming into the shot in the background. I could hear something going on, but I thought it was one of my family, my kids. But then I'm thinking, but they're all out. So I'm trying to talk to you. Part of my brain was focusing on sharing about the fragrance. The other part of my brain is trying to work out who is behind me. And it was the pool guy. And I thought it was going to become one of those videos, but it never did, which is great. The pool guy, I love seeing him, because obviously I couldn't see him, but on the camera, him looking like, oh, I'm out of here, you know, and he was gone. So I got in yesterday. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I think got up quite early this morning. I think it was like 4 o'clock and I was already awake, 4 a.m. Was in the office quite early, but a small respite. And then we're back on a plane and we are over to France. We are starting the France perfume tour that is happening alongside Kevin. So we're flying at the end of this week, starts next week. So super excited. Everything, all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, everything's ready to go. So we're really excited about bringing this to life now. It's been a long time in planning and it's gonna be exciting to be in Paris again. Now, I do want to mention about the Paris meetup. So this is something that Kevin and I talked about a few weeks ago. Similar to what I did in LA, which was get together, talk about perfumes, bring something that you're loving, or we will be in the Javoy store, so there's a million fragrances in there. So feel free to grab something and share it with us, something that you're enjoying. Kevin and I, or the good people of Javoy, have given us the back room area so we can have nice and easy conversation. We've both selected 6 fragrances each that we're loving from the store. So we'd love to share that with you guys for anybody who comes along. So actually, if you want to DM me and let me know who is coming along, I always like knowing. It's always nice so that I can see who it is and say your name rather than do the whole, so what is your name? Because yeah, just makes it more personable. I can see my hands, so indirectly I can see my hands are going nuts. So I'm a little bit wide. I think I've had like 3 jugs of my mate already. So I'm gonna try to slow it down a bit. All right, but again, reminder, the Thursday 28th, this is the time. We will be at the Javoy store. We'd love to see you guys there, anybody who can make it to that. I am gonna bring some Anchor Kush fragrances to give away. I probably won't do it in store because maybe the Javoy people will be like, what are you doing? Afterwards, and we did this in LA. This was so cool. We went to get a bite to eat somewhere local. So anybody who is local in Paris, if you wanna make some recommendations of any nice, something casual that we can go and get a baguette from or something of that nature, or a croque monsieur. I love those, by the way. Croque monsieurs, rock and roll, they're my favorite. So something like that, just chit chat and get to know each other. All right. As I mentioned, the France perfume experience is starting now next week. So a long time, well, not a long time, but it's been a big build up to this moment. I feel like we've got some really good momentum. So Kevin and I have been doing a lot of work for this tour, but as a result, we're actually doing the other tour in May 2024. A lot of groundwork that we've done with some brands that we didn't want to squish in too much for this tour here. I feel like this tour has quite a nice breadth to it. So there are some exciting things that we're planning for May 2024. If you are interested in doing something that is bespoke, something that is about niche and the romance of niche perfumery, something that is something really special and very personable, then I encourage you to put your name on the VIP hot list. You'll be the first people to know about the tour that we're going to be doing next year. You will get a special offer. That's the key. Even if you're going, I'm not sure, you know, 50-50 on the whole thing, 50-50-50. So there's 3 50s in there, you know, so you're really like unsure. Put your name down, and at least you can see what will be offered, and maybe that'll tempt you. So yeah, so that's the VIP hot list. How do you do it? This is where you go into the NFC website, scroll down, and you'll see that there is a chance for you to put your email and we'll send you an email. I promise that we're not going to spam you, all right? It'll be one email only. I don't have a mailing list or anything of that nature, so don't feel that all of a sudden you're never going to be able to unsubscribe from Mr. NFC. Stop with the emails already. I promise. One email, that's it. That's all you're going to get. Small drink. Give me a second. For those people who participated, actually, I had a lot of fun doing this, and I really enjoyed reading all the comments from everybody when it comes to guessing what fragrances I took to LA. Here's the photo, here's the reveal. So these were the fragrances that I took across. And I did mention that I want to apologize that I haven't spoken about, well, didn't speak more about Ormond Jane. And only 2 people voted or felt that that was one of the fragrances that I took with me. And yeah, it was. I mean, I purposely, in my brain, I had a design that it was going to be the fragrance that I took to Palm Springs. And it was the perfect fragrance for that incredibly hot place. It was wonderful. I caught up with Josh Agel. That video is being developed right now, so that should come out in a couple of weeks. But that whole experience was phenomenal because, in my opinion, that fragrance, the Evernia, was just glorious. It was this beautiful scent cloud that was around me. So I'm going to correct a mistake that I did, which was there are a number of brands that I'm using, that I enjoy, that I have a number in the collection, but I haven't been really flagging them. So I'm going to share 4 fragrances or 4 perfume houses that I'm really enjoying. Now, these fragrances that I've selected from the houses are perfect for either a spring setup, which is perfect for us here in the Southern Hemisphere, and also brilliant for the Northern Hemisphere as you guys are going into your autumn and fall. So I feel like these fragrances play well in that sort of not too hot, not too cold sort of place. They radiate really well, and they just sensational scents. Allora, so let me just make sure that I'm saying everything correctly. Beep, bada, boop. Yes, here we go. Ormond Jane. So I mentioned that I took Evernia from Ormond Jane last to LA. And the Whole Ormond Jane house is exceptional. Now, I did do a video, and this is, again, my fault. I've only done one video from Ormond Jane, which is Ormond Man. However, I have quite a number in their collection. I will be doing a 2-minute breakdown, so I'm gonna share more on that Ormond Man. I'll do a 2-minute breakdown so you guys can see a bit more. But the one that I wanna put forward to you for this spring or even autumn fall is BYZANCE. Now, this is part of the new collection. I'll put it here. This is the collection I've got a few from that collection. I forgot the name of it. This one here is glorious. So if you I love that it has a vanilla component to it, but it's not a vanilla gourmand fragrance. Sometimes I feel that vanillas can be amped up or amplified, and then it falls into this very gourmand place. It does even have a black currant note on the opening. I'm not a fan of black currant in fragrances. I tend to shy away from them. However, BYZANCE is phenomenal when it comes to this beautiful, it's a fruity opening, but not female lean. Sometimes fruity fragrances can be a little bit female skewed. I feel like it plays evenly for a man or a woman. Members of my family enjoy it. Actually, the truth is the boys enjoy it more. So my son, Nelson, he's a big fan of BYZANCE also. What it does is that it has this wonderful, like I said, fruity opening, but then there's this balance between the woods, sandalwood and things of that nature. It does have cashmere, or the cashmere woods in there also, so there's this blonde wood component to it. The vanilla is present, but it doesn't sort of take center stage. It doesn't sort of become overly sweet or anything of that nature. As a spring fragrance, phenomenal. As an autumn, fall fragrance, fantastic, really glorious. Now, the only thing, okay, a lot of people say, I've read a few things. Ormond Jane, as a house, they're not huge projectors. They're not room fillers. These are, and I think it falls in line with English perfumery, and that is the English perfumery, from what I've noticed, okay? Anyone out there, correct me if I'm wrong. What I've noticed is that English perfumery is a lot more subtle and understated, which I think also fits with the English overall. They don't want to overtly sort of unlike the Italian, you know, open shirt, you know, ma che cosa fa, what, you know, what do you want sort of thing. Whereas the English are a bit more reserved. And I feel like Ormonde Jayne has that. It's not a room filler, it's a beautiful fragrance around you. For me, it does last long on my skin. I'm getting at least 6 hours, 7 hours. As an evening fragrance, it's phenomenal. But yet, not a room filler, not huge sillage. I feel like it falls more into like a moderate to low. It sort of stays around me. But again, for me, like I said, I wore in Palm Springs, Evania, awesome fragrance. I was a bit nervous, the fragrance was popping, so anyway, Ormonde Jayne. So I will talk more about, I promise once things settle down, once I come back from this trip, I promise to do a lot more talking again, phone calls. We'll just hang up on that. Recommend it to you. Next one. Just making sure, I'm gonna have a small drink. I think my brain is a little bit on the fried side. I do feel a bit tired. But it's so good to be doing this Maté talk in the office. It's a lot more controlled environment, other than phone calls. All right, I have spoken about this house quite a bit. I did do a promo on their Discovery set, and that is NUIT NOMADE. You know, it makes me happy. There is a number of people who are across this brand. I feel like if you're new to niche, this is a great entry level. Not because their fragrances are complex and quite unique and divine. It's from a price point. Sometimes some niche perfumes can be quite pricey. Whereas I find that NUIT NOMADE, I feel like they're very accessible. The fragrances are very unique. I feel like you get, well, for me at least, I get a lot of compliments when I'm wearing it. This one here is Jardin de Misfa. I have spoken about this before. Currently, this is a fragrance currently, I finished that sentence. Currently, this one here is on loan, and that is Sugar Leather. This is exceptional, and I would even say is pure magic. I love this fragrance. Now I got the tester from the Discovery set, or the sample. What I love about this fragrance, I had an opportunity to travel through Turkey, and I enjoyed a number of times this spiced, I think it was apple, but a spiced fruit tea. And for me, I remember the first time I experienced this fragrance, it was this spiced fruit tea component to it that just took me back to my travels through Turkey. As it begins to, so I'm in the dry down now, as it begins to dry down, it does have a leather component to it. If you want a robust leather fragrance, this is not it. It's interesting though, because sometimes the leather fragrances can have a suede-like quality to it, so there's suppleness in it. That's not it either. But yet it does have a beautiful defined leather note in there. For me, I don't detect it on the opening. The opening is very much about this cinnamon bark-like quality to it. It does have to my nose, it has a fruit-like component. And again, maybe it's just the inception of this apple tea that I was having, but I'm getting like a fruity apple sort of component mixed in with this beautiful cinnamon bark. And when I say cinnamon bark, because it does have a woody component to that cinnamon note in there. When it dries down, it stays spicy. It retains that spicy component to it. But there is a sweetness, and that leather is divine. I know that there is some incense in the oil. I think it's amorous anyway, there is some sort of incense qualities to it. Just glorious. This is, honestly, it is pure magic. It's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. And again, I go back, this whole house, I'll be talking a lot more. I recently launched a new concept called the Perfume Discovery Series. I started off with Rhodes. And so the intention is I do want to create a perfume discovery series on NUIT NOMADE, and that way you can follow through with me and discover the full range, because honestly, the fragrances are unique, the fragrances are amazing. There's a lot of pure magics in this collection, so big recommendation from me. Bada bing. All right, let me move on. What's my time? Good. I mentioned before that Jayne, it is an English perfumer. Mind you, one thing I forgot to mention, so the perfumer to a lot of the perfumes that were created early on is by GEZA SCHOEN. Incredible perfumer. I would say, have a look at his resume of products that or perfumes that he's created. The man is phenomenal. One of the biggest fragrances that I love is, ooh, itchy throat, hold on. Whoa, no cuts, sorry about that. Like I said, my body is slowly shutting down on me. But I'm gonna keep going, professional, I'm staying professional. So GEZA SCHOEN, Clive Christian's Ex Masculine. That fragrance, man, that is one of the classic hits in my collection. So GEZA has made a number of these fragrances in the Jayne collection. I mentioned before that Jayne tend to be a lot more subdued. They're not room fillers, they're not these, big explosive fragrances. But that's the beauty of them, so just a heads up on that. However, if you do want room fillers and you do want, punchy fragrances, then SOSPIRO. Now I know that SOSPIRO as a house is not a hidden gem. A lot of people know SOSPIRO. A lot of people talk about Herbal Leather and also Vibrato, another incredible fragrance. But this one here doesn't, well, I haven't seen a lot of airplay on it, and it's Pasticcio. Now, Pasticcio it means mess in Italian. And I think, so first, the perfumer is Christian Provenzano, rock star perfumer. So the man is just a genius when it comes to constructing fragrances. Again, look at his resume of fragrances and you'll be just amazed at how many just incredible fragrances he has created. So this one here, when I first discovered it, I didn't look at the notes like I normally do. And I'm like, oh, it's a gourmand fragrance because it has this sweet-like quality to it. I think I also got a little bit, so pasticcio, before I even looked up what it meant. I thought it was like a pastry. And so I think I got that inception in my brain too. So it has this gourmand sweetness to it. But when you look at it, and I think the name is a good reference to the fragrance, if you look at the amount of notes that are in this fragrance is next level. I mean, it's like every floral fragrance note that is out there is actually built into here. I compare this, so pasticcio, to floral fragrances that are so unique and so, you can't say, oh, I can smell this or I can smell that. Fragrances like Pas Ce Soir, which does have a gourmand-like quality to it, yet there's no gourmand notes in, apart from the quince note that's in there. Or fragrances like Cavort, when I was convinced by Fragrance du Bois, I was convinced that it also had some kind of fruit note or something. No food notes in there, all florals. The same has been applied to here. So if you're a man who doesn't like floral in their fragrances, check out Pasticcio. If you're a woman, you will absolutely adore this. Now, why? Because this fragrance has incredible volume, both in the way it projects and the way it sillage and the way it lasts on skin, the evolution that you get from where you open to where it dries down to. This is, for me, this is the biggest compliment getter that I have in the SOSPIRO range. All the SOSPIROs are phenomenal. And again, when I get back, I'll do a full video on all the different SOSPIROs that I have and the ones that I really love. But as a heads up, Pasticcio is, dare I say, pure magic. I've got it here. I was smelling before, so I've got the sugar leather here. That's divine, just divine. But Pasticcio, and actually, I said I couldn't smell, I do get a slight powdery sort of iris note. I do believe they've got every floral known to man in here, so I'm gonna say there is an iris in here, but just glorious, just a really, really phenomenal fragrance. Now, another one that I've got on loan at the moment is Black Dragon by BYRON Parfum. Another incredible house. Have a look at their collection, just really phenomenal fragrances. I got, so Black Dragon I got put onto this by my good friend Kevin. I don't know if you've seen this particular episode. So I have a beehive in my backyard and I invited Kevin to come and join me. So we basically opened up the hive. I'm not going to steal my own thunder. Watch the, if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, cool, but watch maybe the first 5 to 10 minutes. Let's say that Kevin did get stung, and he had never been stung in his life, so it's funny seeing this whole thing play out. If you want to just watch the more reaction, come to the end where you see this particular part of the video where I pulled out, that's an actual frame of honey from the hive, and just the conversation and yeah, how he experienced being stung, and it was funny. Now, the fragrance that he talked about here, we had 2 fragrances in this episode that were honey or had honey components to it. What I love about Black Dragon is that it does open with this beautiful, sweet, honey-like component, but it's mixed in with this pineapple mango. It is the most divine, alluring, instantly fall in love sort of opening in a fragrance that you'll ever likely to experience. It does go down into a tobacco note, and then it also does dry down to a more woody patchouli place. If you love your tobacco fragrances like Naxos and things of that nature, Black Dragon Black Dragon is phenomenal, but actually the whole house, BYRON Parfum, another exceptional perfume house from France. Wait till you, anyway, I'll go into a lot more when I get back from France. Boom, I'm trying to race myself against the clock because I want to wrap this baby up. Thanks so much. The next Maté talk will be in Paris. I'm hoping to do it alongside Kevin before the tour starts. So it'll be, yeah, the next time you see us, it'll be over there. Anyway, boom, bada bing. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know of anything, actually the ones that I shared, tell me what your thoughts are if you are aware of them. Love to hear what you have to say. Thanks everyone. We'll see you guys all on the next Maté talk, and I'm gonna go to sleep now.